Hello everybody, welcome back to Cryptid Saturdays, and in today's Cryptid Saturdays we are going over the cryptids of America Samoa, and this is just continuing the series when I'm trying to kick back up while going over the cryptids of the American territories. So like always, all the links to all the articles and everywhere where I got this information will be in the comment section down below, and let's just get into this thing. But hey, real quick guys, like I always try and do, I am trying to get, I want to say at this point 1,200 subscribers, because hopefully we've already hit 1,100. But if we haven't hit 1,100, please can you help me out with hitting 1,100? I think right now I'm at a little over 1,060, maybe 1,070. But if you guys could hit that subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. So the Manea. The Manea is a mythological creature in Maori culture and is a common motif in Maori carvings and jewelry. The Manea is usually depicted as having the head of a bird and the tail of a fish and the body of a man, though it is sometimes depicted as a bird or a serpent, or a human figure in profile. Other interpretations include a seahorse and a lizard. The word Manea is cognate with the founding of Samoan term Fa'amanaya and relevant to the Niue Whakamanai, both meaning to make a decoration or embellishment. And I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering these pronunciations, I am doing my best. The Manea is traditionally believed to be the messenger between the earthly world of mortals and the domain of the spirits, and its symbol is used as a guardian against evil. In this form, it is usually represented in a figure of 8 shape, the upper half culminating in a bird-like beak. This form was also widely used in designs of door and windows lineates and other architectural features, as well as ceremonial hafts of weapons. A study of Maori carvings suggests that every naturalistic figure there is an equivalent Manea form, which can be seen as a distorted profile face version of the equivalent full-face figure. It may be that the Manea represents some spiritual or inner facet of the full-face figures. Related Manea-like symbols are also found in other Polynesian cultures, such as in Hawaii and Easter Island. The Manea is a useful motif in carving, as it can be distorted to fit any shape and blend into many different designs. As such, it can be used to fill the empty space in wood carvings and in many compositions. The background between the main figures is filled in with Manea. It is a very common form in Maori jewelry, possibly only less common than the haitiki and haimataui, and is often found worn as a pendant carved from bone or greenstone. Manea designs vary subtly in form between iwi throughout, though they are often depicted as 3-fingered, with these digits representing the trinity of birth, life, and death. A 4th finger representing the circle rhythms of the life and cycle of the afterlife is also sometimes shown. And I'm not even going to try and guess what this could possibly be, but to me, very clearly, it's just sort of a mashup of things just from throughout their area that have influenced their culture. But it's very clearly also just a very spiritual being to them. So to them, this is 100% real, and there is honestly nothing that I could ever say that would change that fact for anybody or anything. But now we can get into probably what's more realistically of the cryptid side of things, which is the Saguaro Island devilfish. Sometime during the 19th century, the English trading steamer known as the Emu, while on her way to Sydney, Australia, made a brief stop at the South Pacific atoll known as Saguaro Island. Once ashore, the crew of the Emu were bombarded by the natives, accounts of a huge devilfish which had recently been washed ashore on their island. Intrigued by these claims, members of the Emu's crew, led by her captain, decided to investigate. One Mr. A.H. Bell, who was a member of this expedition, chronicled the crew's search and eventual discovery of the so-called devilfish carcass. Noting its horrific stench upon their triumphant return to the Emu, Bell is quoted as stating, "We secured as much of it as we could, and we have now on board the first sea serpent ever brought to Australia or anywhere else." The carcass, which they found on that isolated atoll, was described as being approximately 60 feet long, brownish in color, and covered with hair. The captain estimated that the creature probably weighed approximately 70 tons, and he described the animal's head as like that of a horse. The creature's skull alone was measured to be over 3 feet in length and was reported as having 2 tusks at the extremity of its lower jaw. This is a trait that is shared with the famous Egyptian Ataka carcass, as well as the lesser-known Metigi monster. The natives further elaborated that when the beast had first washed ashore, it still had its seal-like flippers, The captain ordered that the skull was to be removed and returned to the ship's hold. After triumphantly returning to Australia with their unique cargo intact, the captain of the Emu presented the find to the Australian Museum. Much debate ensued over the identity of these remains, but it was finally decided, no doubt in the interest of protecting vested reputations, that the skull in question, more likely than not, belonged to a species of beaked whale. So what I think these guys actually might have stumbled across, and this might be, depending on when this was actually like entertained, the very first recording of a blobster. And what a blobster is essentially whenever a highly blubber-filled like animal or mammalian decomposes, it looks really hairy and stringy, and then when parts of the bone start to get showed, a lot of like marine mammals have those beak-like shapes, and that kind of gets extended into these things. So that's why I used that image that I did, although I think that might have been dolphins. I'm not 100% sure what that image was, but it was in the article. And honestly, I think that's what this was. I think it was just a blobster that no one could really identify at the time. But how cool is it that a blobster got turned into this weird devilfish thing, probably because of the smell that it already had by the time it had washed up on the shore. But hey, those were a couple of the cryptids that I could find from America Samoa. And if you guys know of any more, please let me know in the comments down below. And while you guys are down there, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you never miss another video from me. And I will see you guys in the next video.